Hoboken was devastated by Hurricane Sandy, so that was an impact of sea level rise, storm surge, climate change, and Hoboken was literally underwater. 80% of our city was underwater. All of our homes had to be cleared out, so homes were destroyed, businesses were destroyed, our sanitation services were destroyed, and we have a combined sewer system. Our substations were all underwater, our fire stations were destroyed, our senior centers, our transportation system that we use every day. And we responded by I advocated extremely strongly for a comprehensive approach, sat with FEMA, sat with the state, got no response. The answer was no, we can't really take that comprehensive approach. Thank God the Rebuild by Design competition came along, sponsored by HUD, and I advocated as strongly as I could, and we were able to win that competition and win $230 million. I am now working with the state. The funding is coming through the state, and my fellow mayors, Weehawken and Jersey City, to implement a comprehensive solution. The city is also working as part of that strategy, building on what we had already started doing. Other parts of the project, it's a 4-part water management strategy that we are working to implement. Parts of it are being funded by the city. So that comprehensive approach, comprehensive as in a solution that supports all of us, and comprehensive as in an integrated financial structure to make it happen, and that's what we need to switch to. Okay. So it involves a resist strategy, resisting from the waters coming in, so and then delaying from the waters going down into the sewer system, and discharging. So parts of that strategy are already being implemented. We've already started with a flood pump, a second flood pump in our city. The focus of the Rebuild by Design funding will be on the resist strategy. So the water came in from the south and from the north, and so looking at what are the different strategies that we can implement to protect from those flood, so it's basically a flood system along the waterfront at the south and the north that connects our communities on our neighboring communities. Well, right now we have tremendous support. We are working on the local level, communities engaged and involved. We're working with the state. We have federal funding that's coming through the state, and we're working with the federal government. And we have all agencies that are a part of this process. It's called Rebuild by Design, but it involves every agency. And that's what we need. This is the model for the future. That's what I would really like to see. Is that's what we need to move forward, this model to keep it going. But we need to keep implementing this process, this plan for our city to protect our city. And my focus is now starting to work on what can we do, thinking about the future of, we're going to need to maintain this, there's going to be, costs to maintain this, and I really believe, and I'm starting a working group to look at the National Flood Insurance Program, and the state is interested in working with us, and I think the federal government is, and we have private partners. We need to look at our friends in the Netherlands and move towards a resiliency district approach, where instead of paying for a national flood insurance program that doesn't work, we're paying to help maintain a system that protects our communities. So instead of a reactive approach, we take a proactive approach to protect our communities and protect, obviously, you look at the numbers, 123 million people, half of our GDP. This is extremely important for the future of our country and the economics of our country. And so that's what I'm advocating for going forward, really trying to see if potentially our region could be the model for changing the way the National Flood Insurance Program works. Well, I think this is an incredible event that I think this is the first time that you have, almost every coastal state represented here talking, and it shows that this issue is extremely important, and we need for this to become a part of the national conversation. We need for the next president of the United States to be very focused on this issue. It's really the future of our country, and it's amazing to me that so far it hasn't been a part of the conversation. But I just listened to all of my colleagues who are here tell their stories and tell their challenges, and we are together. It doesn't matter if you're a Republican or a Democrat. We have got to get this done. We have got to figure out how we're going to get the local, state, and the federal government working in a way that we protect our communities and we protect our economy. Yeah, so for Hoboken, we, 80% of our city is, almost 80% of our city is below sea level. So when we have high tide and heavy rain events, we are hit by the So that's another challenge that we face. We've had about 8 serious flood events since Sandy, so that is another major challenge. And you look at the National Climate Assessment Report that says over the last 50 years, heavy rain events have increased by 70% in the Northeast. So that is another challenge that we are facing as well. Right, it's happening. Yeah, it's not just Sandy. I mean, it was Hurricane Irene, it was Hurricane Sandy, and it's been significant flood events since Sandy that we're dealing on a regular basis. And depending on when it strikes, we're going to have serious flooding again. Yeah, I mean, it's a continuous process. I mean, we worked very hard. You know, there was a process of engaging the community with the Rebuild by Design competition, and we got letters of support from all over the city, all kinds of community organizations. They participated in the community process, and then they wrote letters of support. And now we've created a citizens advisory group that is part of the Rebuild by Design process so that we can continue to keep them engaged and have them go out to the community. And you know, so it's a continuous process. And really trying to, try to take every opportunity to educate people. And you know, this latest threat of Hurricane Joaquin, getting people to think about it. You know, the next anniversary of Sandy that's coming right up, we'll be putting out a communication. Here's the video. If you missed that community meeting, here's what we did, what we're working on. Come, be a part of the process. You know, be engaged, because we don't want to end up at the end of the day having a final plan and then people coming in and saying, well, we don't want to do this. You know, that would be the worst thing. We need to all roll up our sleeves, give our input, make a final decision, and get this done so that we are protected from the next Sandy.